Terrific.
Let the August 2020 council workshop meeting come to order. Please rise for the pledge.
Try to reassure you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible. Thank you all. Mr. Mayor, you'd like to say a few words?
Oh, there he is.
I would, before I say a few words, I normally do this at the council meetings, but I think it's appropriate this evening I mentioned this. Let's all have a moment of silence for Councilwoman Donna Fuchs' husband, who recently passed. May he rest in peace, and may the good Lord look over his family. God bless him.
Amen.
I don't really have a report at this particular time. What I'm about to say to everybody is
Mayor, let me mute everyone. We had a lot of background noise. All right, if you would unmute yourself. It's not going to let me unmute you. Sorry about that.
All right, should be good.
Yeah, you're good, Mayor. Thanks.
What I'm about to say is going to be very difficult for me and very emotional. My wife and I, along with the rest of my family, have had many conversations and many sleepless nights in trying to look at the next chapter of our lives. You know, in life, there's many difficult decisions to be made, and this is one of them. With that being said, effective on Wednesday, September 30th, I will be vacating my position as your mayor and retire to a 55 and older community with a little less house, only one floor, and a lot less stress in general. I have to thank our former mayor, Ralph Garcia, 41 years ago, when he was a realtor, showed me the home that I'm presently in. He said to me after settlement, "Kid," and he could say that because he was a lot older than I was, "when you get settled in, you should get involved in the community." I trusted Ralph. He was my friend, my mentor. I think not only mine, but everybody's hero. He was truly an icon and a legend in Brookhaven. I could only hope that I was just half as good a mayor as he was. Well, it didn't take me long. After 3 months after settlement, I was coaching Babe Ruth baseball and became its president for a couple of years. Started coaching biddy basketball, girls softball. That lasted about 15 years or more. I continued coaching even when my kids were no longer playing. From that point on, I got involved with the Brookhaven Recreation Committee, and I continued to be involved 40 years later to this day. I'm pleased to say that I was co-founder of Family Day, the senior holiday luncheons, the youth dances, the Halloween haunted house, and many other recreational activities. It's always been about the kids and the seniors. I will truly miss not being part of those events and the great volunteers who helped me put on these events. For the past 27 years, I've served the Borough of Brookhaven. I served the Borough Council for 15 years and as your mayor for the past 12 years. And I can honestly say I enjoyed every single day. It has truly been an honor and a pleasure serving the good residents of Brookhaven. I love Brookhaven and will always be, as I call, our little community with unity. I always said our residents are our greatest resource and what makes Brookhaven a great town. I will miss you all. I will continue my mayoral duties until September 30th. I'd like to wish whoever the newly appointed mayor may be and all the council members continued success in moving Brookhaven to the next level. I hope during my tenure on council and mayor that I made a difference and helped grow the community and the residents' needs. It gives me much sadness and with a heavy heart to say goodbye to Brookhaven, the town I love, and all the many friends that I've made over the years, which I will always cherish. Those relationships are priceless. It's been an honor to serve these past 27 years in Brookhaven. Will always have a special place in my heart. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention and tip my hat, as I always do, to our Brookhaven Police and Fire Departments. I've had the pleasure of working with these two departments for more than 20 years. They don't get the recognition they really deserve. I ask that you all please support them and just say thank you when you see them. The life they save someday could be yours. They are truly our hometown heroes. I thank you all for your support over the years, and I wish you all, the good residents of Brookhaven, much peace, much happiness, good health. I hope our paths will cross again someday. May God bless all of you, and may God bless Brookhaven. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Would anyone from council like to add on? Unmute yourself, please.
Mayor, I would just like to wish you well in the next chapter of your life. You and Jean are great people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, thank you for your years of service. The borough, you've made the borough better. And that's, and Ralph would be very proud of you. And
I talk to him quite often.
Yeah, we all do.
I
Just
wish
want
you
to
all
wish
the
you the
best, Mayor.
Thank you.
yeah, wishing you the best too, sir.
Thank you.
Wish you the best of luck.
Going to miss you all.
Mike, having served below you and on the police department for a number of years, thank you very much for all that you've done for the police department.
Thank you for saying that.
Don't cry now.
I'm trying to hold it in.
You got through it without a tear. That's good. I would have cried personally, but thank you again.
It's not over yet.
You have about 5 weeks. Anyone else? I think we've heard from council. All right, let's go right into public discussion. Anyone from public discussion, please unmute yourself if you'd like to speak. Anyone from public discussion? Going once, going twice? It's closed. You did the mayor's report. Mr. Wills with the solicitor's report, please.
Good evening. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Great. Start off this evening with the couple issues. One concerns the Brookhaven Glen development. As everybody knows, this is the 55 and over community off of Edgemont Avenue that had been previously approved by Borough Council. I spoke with the developer, Nate, this afternoon. He's advised me that he will be executing in the very near future the developer's agreement, the improvement security agreement, the agreement regarding the escrow for payment of professional fees. And I expect to have those agreements as well as the public improvement estimate secured with Borough Council sometime in early September. So I expect this developer to be coming in for building permits and construction permits sometime after Labor Day. Again, this is the 84 unit, 55 and over community that again is right off Edgemont Avenue and South Brookhaven Road. Secondly, I bring the Borough Council's attention the Arbor developers subdivision plan. This is a subdivision application off of Zor Street. I had received a letter about a week ago from the attorney for the developer requesting an indefinite extension of time requirements for the borough to render a decision on the subdivision application. In the interim, the developer has made an application with the zoning hearing board requesting minimum lot area and dimensional relief. There is a zoning hearing board meeting scheduled on September 8th of 2020. Now, assuming the developer gets the appropriate relief from the zoning hearing board, I would expect probably in the month of October, the Planning Commission would meet to review this application and provide recommendations to Borough Council on this subdivision application. And probably during the month of November, Borough Council would then entertain this particular application. Next issue I have concerns the Pando property group development. This is a request for a partial release of escrow for completion of certain public improvements. Those public improvements have been reviewed by the Borough Engineer's Office, and I have prepared a resolution for Borough Council's consideration authorizing an escrow release in the amount of $44,440. And so if it is the pleasure of Borough Council to adopt such a resolution, a motion would be in order at this time.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Yeah, we don't do motions
Second, all in favor?
at a legislative meeting. You know,
Oh,
I can do this.
I'm sorry.
That's what council is for.
No, I'm sorry. Let's hold that.
I knew it was a mistake.
Yeah,
I was
Janice,
going to ask the question about
All right,
that
let's not
because
get into a cage match over it. We can punt it. We can punt it to the council meeting, correct?
Yeah.
thank you.
Janice,
No
Yes,
big
and we're
deal.
going to approve it then because I'm working on getting the check written for that night, September 14th.
that is
That's
correct.
the question. Exactly. I'm going to have the check ready.
Yeah. Every once in a
I was
while,
going to ask you about that.
every once in a while, I get ahead of myself.
I know. I understand.
Even the great Jay Wills makes mistakes. We
No,
don't
it wasn't
forgive.
a mistake. I was
So
going to ask him a question about the number.
We will
Right.
punt this
No, you're
resolution
fine. I just-
for September 14th. That's what it
Yeah.
is dated for. And again, that is on my concurrence and on the recommendation of the borough engineer. Next issue I have is the Verizon cellular communications tower off of Bridgewater Road. As Borough Council is aware, we have an existing lease with Verizon for that particular cell tower. Verizon has recently approached the borough with regard to making some recommendations for amendments to this particular lease. I have reviewed the present lease between the borough and Verizon on Bridgewater Road. I have drafted certain recommendations to Borough Council, and based on the feedback and review I have received from Borough Council, I will be in touch with the people at Verizon and communicate Borough Council's wishes, which I believe is at this point is that we continue with the terms and conditions of the existing lease. However, if Borough Council wishes to perhaps extend the lease, that's something certainly the borough would have an interest in. And finally, I have recently reviewed the present application that the,
That's because it goes black.
excuse me.
Janice, you're muted for the time being. Continue on, Mr. Wills.
Yeah. I have recently reviewed the present zoning hearing board application that is on file with the borough. Again, this is a rather truncated application. It's a rather dated one-page application that I don't feel is appropriate to meet the present-day conditions of the borough. Therefore, I have in fact prepared a new zoning hearing board application, instruction materials, and a new amended fee schedule that I believe is in line with other municipalities here in Delaware County. I have prepared a resolution for Borough Council's consideration at the September 14th meeting, which would amend that fee schedule, and I would recommend the council adopt that resolution, amend the fee schedule for applications to the zoning hearing board.
Seriously, I never saw that.
Jay, I just wanted to comment on that. I spoke with Harold today about that, and he was saying that he believes that some of the fees are really high and will be issuing a lot of refunds on it. That was just his 2 cents he wanted to add into that little bit.
And just so everybody's aware of the fee schedule, right? We have a fee of $350 for a residential application,
Right.
being bumped up to $500. So that's it's not a major escalation going from 350 to 500. And commercial application, that is an application for the zoning hearing board that is relevant to a commercial property from 500 to 750. Again, I've reviewed many of the other fee schedules here in Delaware County, and I think that fee schedule is right in line with the other municipalities that are contiguous to Brookhaven Borough, including Parkside and Upland Borough, that I have a lot of familiarity with.
All right, well, we have not scheduled it yet, but we do have an exec session to discuss a few items. It's going to be most likely early next week, so we can add that to the agenda for the exec session before we get back into the September 14th council meeting. It sounds like it needs a little more discussion. Janice, you had a question for Mr. Wills?
My question was, for 2 years, Matt Stone and I were discussing the cell tower, and I would just like to talk, I might call Jay after I review the new papers on this, because we were trying to get more money, and it seems that they want to give us less money.
Sure.
And I'm not really happy when they say less money.
No, none of us are.
You nail on the head, Councilwoman.
Well, I'm going to look at the paperwork tonight, and then I'll call you tomorrow if I have any more questions.
Yes, but that is the sum and substance of it, Janice.
Okay.
We would be getting less rather than more money.
Okay. They also give us the taxes that we have to pay. They have to reimburse us for the taxes.
Yes.
Yeah, because we're not taking that hit.
And that will continue.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. Wills, anything else?
Just a brief note. I've had the pleasure and the opportunity to work with the mayor, I guess, over the past 8 months now, and a lot of issues affecting the police department. And it's a real pleasure working with the mayor. He's very professional, very well schooled and well educated with regard to police matters in the borough. And Mayor, you will be well missed as you move on to 55 and over community. I wish certainly you and your wife best wishes and good health as you move on to your next stage and your next challenges in life.
Thank you for the kind words, Jay. Appreciate it.
Jay, we should also report progress on the Victor Avenue property. From what I understand, the neighboring properties are generally satisfied with the condition of the property. So, you know, that court order is indefinite, or when does that court order expire?
It does not expire.
So it's indefinite. So we will keep a close eye on that. From now, they are satisfied. Good job by Mr. Buonapane cleaning out. He did not have to go back after all, like we worried about.
Okay.
And we're getting good cooperation from the resident too. So there seems to be a change of attitude for the better. So appreciate your work on that. The neighbors appreciate your work on that. It's been a long time coming, and we will keep our eye on that.
And then when you say change in terms, as far as the items that need to be addressed?
Who's asking me that? I barely heard you.
That was
Mike's on the phone. Hold on, let me mute the mayor. I thought he was speaking to me. I'm sorry. Go to the council reports. Ms. Leslie?
Good evening. Thank you. I only have a couple things. The police committee, we need to get together within the week or the beginning of next week to discuss some the contract matters for the police department. Also, I would like to congratulate Charles' son Leslie for the 2019 Firefighter of the Year, and also congratulate for the Chiefs Awards Lieutenant Robert W. Montella and Joe Bynum. They weren't able to have their banquet this year, but we'd like to say congratulations to them for their hard work.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Also, Councilwoman Donna Fuchs asked me to read when her husband's services will be. Her husband, John Fuchs, passed away on Saturday. His visitation will be Friday, August 28th, from 9:30 a.m. to 11:15 a.m. Funeral service at 11:30 at the funeral home. Interment immediately following at St. Peter and Paul Cemetery. Also, I would like to thank the fire department, the police department, our emergency management, and Public Works, as they did a great job during the 2 storms that we endured 2 weeks ago in the beginning of August. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Ms. Leslie. Ms. Wicki?
Yes, I do have, in your packet tonight, you will see the MMO, which is the minimum municipal obligation budget for 2021. There's one form for police pension and one for the non-uniform pension. And I'm just advising council that on the 14th at the council meeting, we will do a motion for the minimum obligation for the police pension is $320,196 for next year's budget. And the non-uniform pension for our road crew and other people who are on the pension, office workers also, $28,162. So if you look in your packet, it is in there. I just wanted to bring it to your attention so you could read through. If you have any questions, let me know. But that's what our share for next year from the auditors. They advise us of how much we have to pay. So I just have to let you know so that the public knows when we do it in public, when we make the motion. Thank you. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you, Janice. Mr. Pappas?
Thank you, Mr. President, but I do not have a report at this time.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Vasquez?
Thank you, Mr. President. As Jay said, the zoning hearing board is going to meet September 8th at 7 o'clock to discuss the Zor Street issue. Also, I spoke to Harold. We have 50 permits issued for this year to date. July, he has 102 phone calls put out. And that's all I have from Harold at this time for zoning. Public Works, Denise touched on this. The Public Works team did a great job with these 2 storms, fire department and the police department. Really want to thank everybody who participated in helping with these storms and, you know, keeping everything together for the borough. During the couple storms, we had a few issues pop up. We had a Whiteley Road storm sewer issue, which I'm sure Mr. Catania is going to talk about. Public Works also just had a few things going on. I'll give my full report in detail at the council meeting for Public Works. And I do just have one question for Mr. Catania. With the Charles Ave grant going through that we got from the state, I was just wondering, do we have a scope of work set out in a timeline yet for that work now that the grant has been awarded to us officially from the state?
Unmute yourself, Mr. Catania.
Oh,
Chuck, unmute yourself, please.
I was trying, it just wouldn't let me.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah, so basically at the regular council meeting, we'll ask for authorization for the appropriate borough officials to execute the grant agreement with the DCED for that small water and sewer grant for Charles Avenue. At that point, I think you're probably like at a minimum 3 months before anything would be ready to move forward. So I would expect we're looking at early 2021 for that project to begin.
Okay, very well, thank you.
I believe it was going to start in December or January because it had to be done in cold weather, Hector. I just wanted you to know that. It was always anticipated to start in the winter months because of the location of the work behind the back doors.
Yeah, but I think with everything being delayed, I just wanted to get an idea on the timeline, that's all.
All right, that's fine.
And that's all I have for my report at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Vasquez. Mrs. Heller?
Okay, I only have a few quick things. Technology and Communications Committee met on Thursday, 8/13 via Zoom. Donna, Hector, and I, as well as John, met with representatives from eCode. We'll have more to discuss at the September council meeting. It is Donna's project, so I feel that it's best that she touches on that. The parade committee met on Wednesday, 8/19. And more to come during the council meeting, because I believe that Vaughn will be in attendance for that, and he could provide the most updated information in reference to the parade committee.
Mr. President.
Someone trying to chime in?
Okay, I'll continue on.
Go
And the only thing that I have left is I want to personally thank Chuck Italian, Fire Chief Mantella, Safety Officer Joe Biden, Inspector Bob Grant, and Public Works for all the help that they provided to the major sinkhole and the severely concerning Pico Pico pole that was located behind the property of 5005 Edgemont Avenue. It went on for quite some time, and it was very fortunate that we had all of them helping and trying to resolve the issue with the property management there. So thank you. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Mr. Catania with the engineer's report, please.
Just a couple of things. First thing is the street, sewer, and street maintenance contracts we know are expiring later this year. So we had a bid opening through a Penndot, which is an online bidding service. I believe that copies of the bid tabulation were emailed out to everyone. We received 4 bids, and we'll have a recommendation at the council meeting for award of that contract. Mr. Vasquez had mentioned the Whiteley Road, and Ms. Heller has as well. Failure in the pipe going underneath the basin of the Plaza 352 shopping center apparently led to a failure in the storm pipe under Whiteley Road. We're in the process of getting necessary paperwork in order to have that repaired. We had to file a permit with the state, the DEP, for an emergency permit to make that repair because it's actually an enclosed stream. We are also in contact with DEP because the borough received funding through the, I guess it was the damages from the Mariner East pipeline project. So we had mentioned this previously, and we're in contact with DEP to see if they would be willing to change the scope of the grant to allow use of that funding to repair the Whiteley Road culvert. It may include some additional work.
That's $125,000, right?
It is something in that range, yeah. So it may require us to do a little additional work for some water quality, but we're in the process of putting together a revised scope of work and an estimate to get the DEP for that. The only issue with that would be if we were able to transfer the grant money, there's conditions attached, which would mean we would have to advertise and put this out for bid, which isn't such a huge deal because we have the road secure with road plates, so it is temporarily safe. Otherwise, we would just get our maintenance contractor in to repair it. So we're going to hold off on doing that until we find out, get an answer on the grant. We'll have the street resurfacing contract is tentatively set to start the first week of September. 4340 Marianne Drive. There's a sinkhole over the storms from the side yard. We're kind of going back and forth with this. Apparently, some of this problem is a homeowner installed storm drain. Part of this problem is a borough storm that runs along the property line. I'm going to ask for authorization to repair the borough portion of that work. We talked briefly about the Charles Avenue already. Act 537 plan. I think this is for the sewer, the sale of the Delcora sewer assets to Aqua. The Planning Commission held a meeting last week, which it was briefly discussed. Questions were brought up, and I assume submitted to Delcora, but maybe they have not as of this time. I'm going to recommend that the Borough Council hold off on that till we get those questions answered by Delcora and or Aqua. Okay. Traffic signal maintenance contract. This is set to expire at the end of this year. There is an option for another year renewal. At the council meeting, we'll have to decide whether or not we want to exercise that option for renewal or authorize a bid for a new contract. And a Penndot master casting agreement. This is just a standard agreement, which when Penndot is doing work on a state highway, repaving Edgemont Avenue, Brookhaven Road, or one of those streets, it allows for the adjustment of the borough facilities, the manhole, the sanitary sewer manholes, to be coordinated with the Penndot project. So we're going to ask for authorization to execute that agreement. And that's all I have.
I think it's usually a resolution, Chuck.
Okay.
Okay, I think usually a solicitor does a resolution for that.
I would imagine if it's Penndot, there'll be a form resolution
Yeah,
that was with it.
yeah, that's why I meant a form resolution that they usually send us. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Charles. Mr. Leslie, broadcasting from the roof of a building in Philadelphia, apparently. Go ahead. Your view is much better than ours. And unmute yourself, please. Chuck, unmute yourself.
Unmuted, okay.
Nice view, sir.
Yes, I'm downtown right now on a
I hope
tower
there's-
crane, 310 feet in the air.
I hope you're not dangling a piece of iron above someone's head while you're speaking.
I am not. I'm setting wall panels. Actually, I only have one thing. We had a house fire Sunday morning. Could have been a lot worse. Quick response to the fire company, got people out of the building, and a quick extinguishment.
All right, we got one more pickup front of the trailer.
And that's the end of my report.
Second column from the end.
I'll report further next week.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, mute me up.
Before we, who wants to talk? Janice, is that you?
I just told him to be safe.
Oh yeah, I'm always safe.
You better be.
Before we go into public discussion, I want to thank the fire department, police department, and Public Works for the two bad floods we had down along Creek Road. I was down there the one night, the Friday night. It was pretty scary to see water rising that fast. And you know, I've always seen pictures of it, but when you see a creek rising at that rate of speed, it's pretty ugly.
Yeah.
So great work by all involved. I think they worked the entire weekend after the second flood, as much as they worked after the first flood. So good work. Let's go to public discussion. Anyone from public discussion? Mr. Dykes? If you would like to speak, please unmute yourself.
Nothing here.
Anyone else for public discussion? Going once, going twice. All right, we are closed. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion's carried.
Aye.
See you guys on September 14th. Thank you very much. Have a good night and be safe.
Thank you. Good night.